Hi, I'm Miranda HP.
And I'm Connor Calloway.
And together we are
the Bountiful Bards.
Thanks for tuning in to our one-on-one D&D podcast,
The Fountains of Cathaidra. And here we are again for episode 56.
Yep.
56, I think.
Maybe?
I don't know. It's all starting to blur together.
Here we are again in Cathaidra.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know. I'm just making it up as we go.
That's more than fine. How are you doing today?
Oh, you know.
PG
Same
keen?
as I was. Yes, PG tips keen.
Or PG tips games as we are sipping on it right now for our throats. Doing a lot of foundation work in the crawl space under the house, so very much a lot of dungeon inspiration down there, or I definitely know what old miners feel like, for sure. Just hacking away with my tiny little pickaxe.
Except there was some semblance of code attempted. And less children being thrown to their death.
True. I couldn't... is that because of code, or just the lack of the availability of children who could work in a mine?
Well, what I'm
It's
saying
called
is...
kidnapping.
This is not... And that's it, everyone. We're done.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Anyways.
There's no S.
We've been doing a lot of prepping and looking and role playing and such, but I think it's finally time. We're going to start getting into the drama that has been established, and perhaps start the heist this episode. But we'll see where things take us, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we might as well just get on into it. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you?
No. Leah, you and Caslin currently sit together on a nice little bench outside of a lovely smelling bakery as the first night comes to a close. You two are enjoying whatever kind of pastry you may have picked up.
Elephant ears.
Caslin has a very large bear claw. So he's eating it and munching it, and he goes, or a bugbear claw. And he wipes away some of the frosting and goes, you wanted to have a conversation about Candle?
Yeah.
You said on the cart?
Yeah.
The tour guide cart, which was just an hour ago, not 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Okay. What's up?
Well, what do you think? Has she told you anything about the mirror? About...
Mirror? No. Nobody knew. The only people that knew were the two that got caught, and I think are either dead or still imprisoned in the castle. And Candle knew about it. That's how these missions go. I don't even know what anybody else looks like. The only person that is unmasked at our gatherings is Candle, and that's probably not how they actually look anyways. You know, she has some magic up her sleeve, and she doesn't do magic, but she's got some... I've seen her use some cool items before. Like she's got gloves that when she puts them on, it's like they vanish, and she can hide stuff in them, like tools kits and stuff. I've seen some neat things. That's just being a part of the trade, but she's business. She doesn't like when business is bad.
What does she intend to do with the mirror?
I haven't been around long enough to know that, nor have they told me.
Do you think she'd be open to having a discussion about it? Because it doesn't belong to Candle either.
Well, to be fair, Leah, most of the stuff that we acquire doesn't belong to us anyways.
Sure, but there may be someone who misses the mirror in particular, and not for nefarious reasons.
Get inside check. What are you implying?
I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying that the person that the mirror belonged to wants it back.
Do you know who it belonged to?
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying I want to make sure that I can facilitate that discussion.
You can always ask.
Okay.
I don't see why not. At least she could tell you is no.
Well, I think it could potentially be to her advantage anyway to have this person / group of people at an available way, like not necessarily on her side, but in a way that she could utilize them, because I think they could be useful. Because she strikes me as the person who
likes opportunity. She is.
collects those things for use, so to speak.
She is, and she loves having strong connections. I mean,
I think this is
she had connections with the Anointed Lady who hired her to get that artifact. So, I mean, she knows she has talks in high places.
I just think it'd be worth having that conversation with her, and I want to make sure that I have that conversation with her because I promised the person that actually owns the device that I would have that conversation, partially to keep me from being, squished, but also because I think it's practical.
All right, well, I'm not going to... You can bring it up to her, I guess, before or after the mission.
I think before going into it, just to say, hey, let's make sure our cards are on the table as much as is plausible here.
All of her cards probably aren't on the table.
Oh, clearly, I know.
So are you going to want to put all your cards?
No, just more of them. Just like she would.
Okay. Well, we'll see. A little
more go fish, yeah?
We'll see. And he hops down and brushes off the crumbs and goes, tomorrow night, I'm going to be early in the morning, going off of what I've heard of the plan, 3 or 4 a.m. before sunrise.
All right.
And the city usually gets moving about that time with people going out to work in the fields. So I'll see you then.
See you then.
Rest well, okay?
And you as well. You'll do fine.
No, you. Bye.
Bye.
Turns and leaves.
So when I head back to the inn, I've already done this multiple times, but Leah's just going to do it again. Just take a nice little circuit around the inn, paying attention to where her new room is and egress options.
Okay.
Just to be aware of them.
Yeah.
That's one thing she pays attention to.
At this point, Miranda, it's a given. You probably don't have to voice that to me every single time because I'm never going to be like, haha, you didn't check. I think going forth, the fact that Leah has been in this world where she has to hide who she is, it's second nature. She's always going to be doing that. So it's definitely within her character to do that, I would say.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify.
Of course, and you absolutely can clarify. I would just say to give you more easement and not,
in ease way,
not building anxiety for your character. I would think us saying it goes without saying from now on is perfectly fine. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay.
Fine by me.
It gets you the observant feat when you level up.
Oh, 100%. I do think that would be actually pretty logical for her, honestly. Especially because Jimothy's like, what does this button do? Aw, shit.
You get into your room. Full, warm from the day. It's cooling off. The humidity is broken. Cleaning up. Is there anything you'd like to do before going to bed? Any reading you wanted to do or anything? I think you may have mentioned that last time.
Yeah, I mean, definitely pulling that book out for sure and just scouring it, looking for it's always the things that people overlook that are the most important. So things like I'd said before, I'd mentioned last time briefly, like sewage, because the most important things about a city is where does the poop go?
Okay.
So sewage channels, because those are very difficult to dig, and especially if you're talking about an area you want to keep looking clean, they have very, very, very obvious ones that are very important. They're maintained. They are basically one of the main arteries of a city. So things like sewage channels, aqueducts, anything that just is the boring, humdrum, heartbeat, literal blood flow of a city. She's looking for that because they're not going to build those again.
Specifically for the castle.
Yeah.
Right. So for Castle Ordain, what I'm hearing from you is that you are purposely, Leah has probably figured out that they're not pooping in barrels and then shipping the barrels out. Like what is the what Radiant was? You saw Radiant, and if this is pre-Radiant, there's got to be some type of, like you're saying, aqueducts or sewage involved. So I will wholeheartedly say in that book that you're looking at, there are maps of the drainage systems. Like some of these pages are so paper thin, it's like where you can lay them on top of each other and just keeps building the blueprint. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what the kind of paper it is. So you go about 6 pages in and you actually find what looks to be a sewage slash or aqueducts and sewage system that seems to be going on to where aqueduct, and there's an underwater tunnel, or there's a underground tunnel made specifically, and it says right in notations, spring water flow coming from like the northwest, so from the forested area and where the runoffs would happen. And then you can also see where it notates like upper elevation of water springs to be taken from well, then a lower elevation where the water mixes with sewage at that point, so the sewage can't backtrack. Like it's You're like, wow, this is great. And moves the sewage literally still underground out of the castle and off somewhere southward. You have no idea where, but that's what it's saying. Which would mean that Kendall's information about couldn't dig under the walls is probably true, except maybe there's these 2 points where it's got to be open because it has to breathe. Like you said, there has to be veins. It can't just be a secluded building or, where people poop is very important.
Well, that was one of the other things I was thinking about after last time is as we were making the circuit around the fortification or what has become the fortification, were there any like areas that were particularly pungent? Because that would perhaps denote that they don't use that sewage system. They either use a different one or they use a different method. So it's one of those things where it's more of just like, because we saw that the manor and stuff is all different architecture. It was built on top of, so they had to use their own sewage. So either maybe they didn't know about those particular ones, because there's never just one.
Right.
There is always multiple, like especially if you have a place that in its heyday was meant to have a lot of people. You're not going to just have one bathroom. You're going to have a lot of them. So they probably had multiple sewage systems. And they may have not just necessarily been for just sewage. If you have a very flat space full of rock and it rains, well, guess what? Water shows up. And you have to have a place for the water to go.
True.
So there may be all kinds of stuff that was built in a way that made sense to the architects of the time, but the people now have no concept of it whatsoever. So I guarantee you there's multiple ones that they don't even know exist. They don't know what they are. So it was more of just, she wants to get a kind of understanding of which ones may or may not be in use.
Okay. There is a tap on the window that sounds very reminiscent of a fingernail tapping a window.
I peek out.
You look over and you see the individual Tuft looking in at you through the window.
I open the window.
I open it up and he goes, "May I come in?"
Sure.
Kind of sticks his head in and looks both left and right and up all the way. Like he's you can admire like how much he's looking around for like any sign of trap or danger or anything. And after a minute, he goes, sniffs the air and then
I offer him a cookie.
Lightly steps in. He just politely declines.
I eat the cookie.
Okay. I've alerted my brothers and sisters that we have located the item. I do not know if they will make it in time, but if they do, they will be at my beck and call and able to help with this situation.
Perfect.
What have you found out? Is there anything I can provide, or you can tell me or send me to do to provide information to assist in the success of reclaiming my people's item?
Now that I'm sure that you're done, this is me to you, just teasing you, Connor.
Yeah, 1 second, I gotta move my chair. Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to take out my sketchbook where I've kind of like drawn larger the sketches in the old book. And I'm gonna lay them out, and I've labeled them as well, like done the little circles and things like that with the like, is there an exit here? And I'm gonna kind of lay it out and say, okay, so based on this book that I found, there should be potential egress, ingress routes here, 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 or potentially here or here. Ingress, well, technically egress means both to get in and get out, but I think that's dumb. Ingress, in, egress, out. You know, place where you can get in.
I play in trees. Could you use simpler words, please?
Places to come in or go out.
Okay.
And these are all places where either water runoff was or where the poop goes. So, and I'm showing them to him because, like, he knows the forest, they're his territory and kind of things like that. So he would most likely know where these points are, and he would probably also know which ones are still in use because they would be stinky versus the ones that aren't in use because they wouldn't.
Miranda, on the map, you would ascertain that the poop flow does not go towards his homeland. More so the water comes from where the forest that he apparently dwells in. So he probably wouldn't know anything much about the stinky, but he would definitely know more maybe about the water intake. So just so you're aware. I know we don't have a map in front of us right now.
Well, right, sure. But I mean, like, it has to go somewhere. And even if it's not his territory, I don't know, it just seems like you'd hear either from, like, other druids that we don't go there because it stinks kind of thing. I don't know. Just like one of sort of those, like, if you put the pieces together, it's like, oh, that's what that is.
He shakes his head at that and goes that he doesn't know anything about any of the sewer lines or anything like that. But he does trace his finger and says that this spring may not be difficult to locate, but it could be underground for miles. Right now, we have snow melt, so water would be higher. But far enough into the warm season where it's probably sustained and the rush of it has been gone. That helps.
Yeah.
I could go potentially locate this, and he gestures towards it, this waterway in the city. I have ways of skulking about, looking like a normal animal.
So I will roll up the map and give it to him.
He says, I can find.
All right.
So you want me to find this potential waterway? Is there anything else while I'm inside the castle?
If there is anyone that is being held there, like any kind of prison, if there's any kind of like subterranean architecture that's being used. And so we know that the new stuff was built on top of the old stuff. Okay. So to see, like, because was I right in thinking that they can't do anything with their purple stone? It's too hard. It's too, or can they?
Oh yeah, no, you've read that and you've seen it. The fact that there's no scarring on the outside of the walls, okay. But that also may have led you to believe it's never been attacked. Therefore, it wasn't always a fortified castle with a garrison.
Well, right, but the only reason I'm saying is like because then do we know that then it would look like they just literally plopped the manor directly on top of the purple stone because they couldn't really do much with it, so they left the original architecture undisturbed.
You want him to investigate into that?
Yeah,
no problem.
To just kind of see if they were able to, because like they built this manor on top of it, and they would have had to have, poop channels for their own stuff, their own shit.
I would say he goes, I will see the end of this and get back to you tomorrow night.
This is meant to happen.
You got 24 hours, basically.
Yeah, I'm telling him it's early in the morning.
Okay.
So just make sure it gets to me at a decent time, because I gotta make sure I get some good sleep.
Okay. I will be, during the golden time, I'll return with my information.
Okay. Perfect.
I will see if I can locate my item I need as well. Who knows? Maybe we won't need any of this heist work. Unlikely.
So I am going to try to have a talk with the leader before all this goes down. Just to
asked you not to speak to her about this. Why are you going to talk to her? He seems like a little like guarded now.
Oh, because I just want to see like what her plans are with it. I need to be able to sound her out and make sure that she's not like being like, haha, I got what I want, and now here's your reward, your eternal reward, and then chucks me into like, a la Alibaba 40 Thieves style. I just want to make sure that one of the things that is useful in dealing with people who traffic in secrets is the more you can make them feel as if they have forced your hand and forced you to lay more of your cards on the table, the more they think they have the upper hand. Especially if they think that you have revealed an important card when you haven't.
I got you.
And I think that could be one of those cards that could be really useful. And I suspect she will think it's just me being nosy.
Gotcha. Okay. Understood. And he goes.
Because I told you I would do my best, right?
I don't like this. You will. And I will allow you to talk to her. But if she does not come around, once my brethren arrive, there will be no getting away.
I understand.
I must also warn you once you're inside. I have been ordered not to reveal myself to the faith or the lance. For if they find out that my people, with our abilities, dwell within the forest, I have no doubt that the faith will raise it to the ground in search of us.
I agree, and I really sincerely want to avoid that, mostly to stick it to the angel. Stick it to the angel. Fuck it. But yeah, absolutely. I would not expect you to be visible in any context. And I'm being very honest with you and saying I'm going to do everything I can.
I'll return here tomorrow.
Appreciate it.
Gets sleep. And then he turns, jumps out the window. And as he does, he just kind of envelops in this like foggy mist, and then you just hear the flapping of wings into the night. You're like, you just turn into a bird of some sort. Or you don't hear wings, you just feel the gust of them. It's almost as if you may turn into an owl.
What a useful technique.
Right.
Close this window. Stupid
bars window. Stupid bards. I want to turn animals.
I want to be able to fly.
Maybe you should multi-class next.
That'd be a trip. Okay, so
long as it makes sense narratively, I'm fine with it. So what?
Oh,
all right.
Is the DM inspiration just for sessions?
It's supposed to be, yes. So you don't have it anymore, unfortunately.
All good. Just making sure I know so I can erase the things that need to be erased.
Of course.
So going to put the spells into my Symphony of Ivory.
Okay. What spells are you putting into your Symphony of Ivory?
Invisibility and Healing Word.
Very nice. So that's a level 2 and a level 1?
Yes.
Cool. You do that. They're both put in there. You get a night's rest. It's not as hot as it could be. It's the next day. This is your last day. But you can rest up. You can, do whatever you want to do shopping or anything like that. But is there anything that you want to do before we start these events?
I think Leah is going to do some gear check.
Okay.
You always have your rope.
Lay everything out on the ground. Put it all back together inside your bag of holding. Correct.
Yep. I'm going to go through that book. And I think she's going to wince slightly while doing this, but she's going to do it anyway. She's going to tear out the pages that are the most useful because she's got mending. She can put it back together.
Okay.
And she's going to store them separately. She's going to use some of her
I think you've sketched enough, or you just want to have the one where you can flip through the blueprints.
Just quick reference. Yes, absolutely. And so she's going to do the thing where, she has that treatment stuff that she does to the maps to keep it waterproof. So same kind of thing. So she can have this is her
Thankfully, after casting mending originally, it has that lacquer and stuff on it, so it's already waterproof. You're good.
Cool. So I've got that little mini binder of quick grab info. And then she's gonna pay attention to the various notes that she took of the different ones. She's gonna go downstairs probably around midday and do the little sneezy sort of oof. Think I overdid it the past few days. Just kind of gonna chill. So just gonna be in my room because I'm wiped. I think I did a little too much walking yesterday.
A rest day, absolutely understandable. So you do so
just to make sure they know that I'm in my room, sleeping.
Yeah, acting quiet and act like I don't exist. But yes, you're definitely in there. You've been playing. You've done your thing. You've relaxed. You've heard from Theo. You've updated her that you're continuing your investigation. I think you're hiding from Theo that you're going to try and get to another fountain.
Of course.
Yeah. So there's no worry there.
But I almost don't think I honestly, and weirdly enough, I really think it doesn't even cross Leah's mind, which is why it wouldn't pick up as a deception thing. She's just oops. I feel like Leah is very forward momentum.
I understand.
And so that's why I think a lot of her stuff with deception is not so deceitful. It's just doing stuff.
Yeah, doing stuff. Cool. There's another knock at your door and at your window, and Tuft has returned, and he kind of doesn't even wait for you to say anything. He opens up. Or actually, you look over and you see a bird tapping on your window, and you let him in.
Of course.
And the bird lands, and then after epic fogness becomes the individual known as Tuft.
Was he a seagull? I mean, here's the information.
No, he's more like a pigeon.
You'll have to use your words.
I can speak.
I know. I was just joking.
The waterway is full of water, about 2/3 of which the tunnel. He stands up and he's about 5'8", and he kind of puts his hand up to his bottom of his neck, about this tall. Water is flowing, but there is room to walk in there if you need. I do not know where the tunnel ends. My magic ran out before I could swim far enough. Beneath, there are excerpts or extensions of the stonework for the water to go underneath to the left and the right of the castle. And he kind of draws it out. And when he's drawing out to you, it's you see the castle. North of the castle is where the water comes in, and it splits, going off into two wells, and then it comes down and it splits again. So there's 4 wells that are connected to the main cistern apparently. And then he says, then past that, there is a waterfall that drops off, and that is where it starts smelling very bad. I didn't go in there.
Fair enough. So I feel like we're in Tears of the Kingdom go spelunking in wells.
There is a grate of metal, I believe, beneath the castle wall in the tunnel.
Okay, makes sense. Is it is it very fine grate? Is it large?
It is thick wrought iron.
Like, I mean, are there big holes in it, little holes?
A normal person could not fit.
Okay. Good to know.
Not like the old cartoons where like you see them in jail and they're like, just walk through the bars. They're that wide. Yeah. No, it's just as for security. You imagine it's for, naturally, of course, it's there for security purposes.
Right.
And then what was the other thing you wanted him to look into? Oh, there are dungeons beneath the garrison of all the armed men. There are cells down there in the damp.
I wonder if there's a weeblet.
Could not find my artifact. I fear it is well hidden by magic of some sort. Maybe this candle will know about it.
All right. Artifact hidden by magic.
No treasury that I could see.
So I'm going to ask him to do one last thing on his, like, as he goes off about his business. I'm going to give him either like some marbles or little stones that I know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what they are.
Okay.
And I'm going to have him go take them as far into those tunnels as he can and just put them there. Like up out of the way of the water. Because then I can locate object on those.
Okay. That's perfect.
So I'm going to have him just
like we talked about, how do I get back to the inn? I use locate object to find my tankard I used earlier that day.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, because like my brain was like, remember Eon Flux, how she did she dropped those little discs off and then she whistled and they turned into balls and rolled and then blew up. Yeah.
Right. He goes, you can find these?
Yes. Within about 1,000 yards.
I will keep one on me.
Perfect. Which one? They're different colors. There's like red, blue, green, purple.
He takes the green one and puts it in his pocket.
Perfect. Now I'll know. Green.
Now you will know.
Green.
I am leaving to go rest, and then I will place these throughout the night.
Flawless.
Good luck in there.
Thank you.
I will aid where I can. And if you see a bug on your shoulder, please don't squish it. It could be me.
Don't be a cockroach. Otherwise, no promises.
I am particular to horned beetles.
Perfect. They're shiny. They're cool. I can handle it.
I also like bumblebees.
Bumblebees are adorable.
I will not be a bumblebee. Maybe a wasp.
I kill all wasps on sight.
Bumblebee it is. And he goes and turns and jumps out the window. Turns back into an animal and
I was going to say, he's out of druid form. He's like, oh shit, I forgot. Okay.
You get you some rest. You ready?
As ready as I can be. Like, I feel like Leah's probably more ready than me.
As you're sleeping, you feel pressure on your nose. Just right on the tip of it.
Open my eyes and...
You open your eyes and you see a furred hand with one digit balancing and putting light pressure on your nose. And above you is Candle in your room. And you can see just from the light of the window that it's her standing there looking down at you, smiling slightly.
I sigh. Really?
Really? Hope you slept well.
We'll find out.
Let's have a quick chat before we go.
Sounds like a plan.
Kazlin's waiting down in the alley.
Good.
She stands back and lets you get up, get dressed even if you want and stuff like that.
Well, yeah.
I want to ask what you're capable of. I want to ask what magic you can do. Most times I've learned that this type of question can be intrusive, but I need to know what you are capable of for this heist. Because if it will be advantageous for us, it's best to explain so now. I have dealt with wizards before. I have dealt with some of the druids of Shadowroot which are more natural people.
Do I know what Shadowroot is?
Shadowroot is the forest right outside of in between Easeway and Etchings. It's just like basically.
So is that where Tuft is?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, you got that. It is basically Fangorn Forest. Like that's how big it is and just how old it is. Like you passed it. You never passed it. When you teleported in, you were right on the outside or right at the edge of Shadowroot, which that's where a bunch of fresh trees were. So maybe the forest didn't used to stretch that far where that ruined village was, but it does now because it's unchecked. I mean, Shadowroot has grown so much is that you can even looking map of the civilized road between Etchings and Easeway, the forest has continued over the civilized road, and there are several logging basically buildings there that try and keep shrubbery from growing and messing up the road. You know, it's like one of the nature don't care.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Well, I lost my train. Oh, okay, but
she said she's dealt with the druids of the Shadowroot.
I have only spoken to a bard once. And they have powerful methods of persuasion in their magical arts. But I know many of the heroes are different. So, what are you capable of? How could you assist this heist? I will not use any of this against you. Obviously, you're more powerful than I am.
Well, fair is fair. And I'll do I take out a pack of like tarot cards and I do the little prestidigitation like I lay a card down, and I ensure that this card is the Hermit.
Okay. Where'd you get tarot cards?
It's Leah. She has a flair for the dramatic.
Just bought it from a shop one day. I got you. No problem.
They have the Welcome to Easeway tarot card pack.
Yeah, I'm very much a fan of the whole, yes, you did buy that mundane thing. It's fine.
Well, yeah, it seems like something she would have because they're neat. And whatever Cathaidra's version of tarot cards are, but I'm pulling out the Hermit.
There are no tarot cards. It's playing cards.
Well, now they're the tarot cards, damn it.
That's okay. You pull out the Hermit, sure.
So, if we're laying cards on the table, and then I pull out the Magician, and I pull out the Empress, and I pull out the Five of Pentacles. Say, all right. So, I'm good with my words. Yes. Can be convincing if I need to be. And then I push the Hermit forward, and I say, I can avoid being seen at times if I wish.
Are you talking about changing your appearance?
Oh, I can do that at a minimum.
Which is a skill that I am capable of. Or are you talking about changing your presence and making it disappear?
Yes, I can make myself disappear. And
can you make others disappear?
Is it one or two more? I think it is two more. If you cast it at third level, right? Invisibility is two other people.
We will look at that and see. I think it is right.
I think that is. So yes, I can make one other person invisible, potentially two if I'm willing to burn more effort. I can catch things on fire.
Her eyes kind of glisten a little bit when you say that, at least two more people. Like they twinkle a little. But she lets you go on.
I can, so I can catch things on fire. Probably a little too well. And I can keep myself alive as much as possible.
So you are practical in the magical healing arts outside of miracles.
I do my best, yes.
Understood. Trust me when I say I am very much aware of the magical capabilities of those that have to stay in the shadows. So the fact that I know what you are capable of is very promising, and I am aware of how you can do things. So do not be afraid. I think I have seen and heard of most instances of magic.
I pull out the Nine of Swords and hand it to her. And you?
And me. And she takes the Nine of Swords from you, and then she flips it over in her fingers, and then flips it back, and it's a completely different card that you haven't even taken out of your deck. I'm good with my fingers. I'm quiet. I'm patient. She disappears. I remember well. I don't forget. Your magic is about to make this heist a lot easier. Just so you're aware, and that's why I wanted to bring you along.
What is the whole point with this device that we're getting for you anyway? What is the intent with it?
The intent is to reclaim it because it has not been paid for. And not only that, more was taken than just the device. The anointed lady took 2 of my best thieves.
Were they the wizards you were talking about, or was one of them? You said you talked to.
What
Were they called?
I have
Druids?
no one of magical instinct within my organization. We are all criminals,
I see.
or as we're labeled as such. But I'm also a businesswoman, and I've done business with the Anointed Lady before. So this betrayal, though it can be registered as something that is on an emotional level, she understands business. I understand business.
It was a breach of contract.
And I'm allowed to reclaim what belongs to the guild.
When you said you've dealt with wizards and druids, is that for similar reasons? Do you do that often?
Let's roll. You're not deceiving.
I'm trying to scope her out.
You are, and I love it. So if I may, I know what you're trying to do. I'm going to have you roll a deception check, just so you're not giving anything away against her insight. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
$24. I think.
Wow. You beat her. Like by 1 point.
Ooh.
Wow. So 24?
Yeah.
Yeah, with her buffs, it was 23. Okay. She looks at you like her eyes are unblinking and they are staring and boring into you.
And Leah's doing the like, what?
I have had conversations with people of the druidic nature. I deal with them more often than others. Why are you asking?
I was just curious.
Curious.
Well, yeah, it sounds like a pretty sweet gig. You're a bunny person. No offense. Or at least you look like one, which seems pretty cool.
I am a hairline humanoid, yes.
And I really wish I could fly sometimes. I think that'd be so cool. So,
There are spells for flying, so I've heard. At least that's what my old magic tomes tell me.
Man.
I can't use them, but I can make sense of them for the most part.
It just seems cool.
It is cool.
And you have a lot of forest out there. So I was just wondering if you engage with them a lot, because it's like right there.
I have been to Shallow Root a few times.
Are they cool?
What made you think they were in Shallow Root, though?
Because woods right there. No, I mean, I can't think of anywhere else.
I do appreciate your candor, and I do appreciate your information. Is there any more questions you have of me before we make our way to the office?
Any luck on finding any ins or outs?
None that I'm aware of. I could not. All sketches of the castle are just as simple and plain as viewing it from upon the wall, and I have done so.
Well, I might have something handy in that regard. Maybe.
What do you have?
And I will pull out the book that has the pages that I ripped out.
Okay. And you show it to her?
Yes.
She looks at these and goes, "Where did you find these?"
The library.
The solarium?
Yeah, it was one of the...
These are not in there. We've been through there.
It was shoved behind other books in the engineering section.
That would make sense. She's looking and she's tracing her finger over the top of it and she goes, "What is this?" Like pointing at what you're alluding to, essentially.
That is what I think could be our ingress or egress, depending on what we need it for. And
what is it?
Waterway.
She kind of reads the notes and goes, "There's no cistern going to... There's no aqueducts going to that castle."
Apparently there are.
How deep is it?
I don't know.
Wonderful work. We won't use this to go in, but can definitely be a way out. She kind of traces the finger just down and into the bottom left of the map where you would know like where the garrison is, and then double taps her finger but doesn't say anything. Says.
I log that.
Yeah. Are you ready?
I certainly hope so.
She opens up the window, which makes no fucking noise. Like, and that window has made noise. Like, there's times where you had to like jump on it and like those old windows when they're like cocked at an angle and you got to straighten them back out. She lifts it up and it makes no noise, and you see just a little bit of the
magical WD-40.
Well, yeah, in the starlight you actually see like it's sleek, it's glistening, like it's been oiled.
Yay!
And she goes to step outside very quietly.
My cloak looks like that
Onto the
modeled
roof.
Lord Vetinari. I was never in this class kind of thing. Like,
Matt, you changed your cloak to match what her clothes look like because she's wearing, browns and grays and greens with the Matt, and her fur blending in and such. She walks over and there's a rope and she expertly just kind of lowers herself down the rope.
I do my best.
You roll an athletics check.
But that's why she also had her egress and ingress planned, so she wouldn't have to be a derp. Can I do acrobatics?
Yes.
14.
Sure. You make it, no problem.
Yay.
It's just one story.
Well, plus I feel like she's doing like...
Caslin? Yes, ma'am. Please provide Leah the items that she needs for the gathering. Yes, ma'am. And he reaches over and hands you a nice burlap tied bundle.
I take the burlap tied bundle. Does it squirm?
No, it doesn't squirm. Untying it and opening up, you see inside there is a mask that looks like it just has the 2 eye holes and then a reflective coating. So it's like a mirror finish mask. And there is also a cloak in there as well, just a burly looking cloak.
But is it a shiny mirror finish or is it
it's
just
foggy.
like a...
Like you
foggy?
Can't.
Perfect. So it isn't going to be like, look, they're right there. You can see by the glint.
You can see reflections in there, but they're opaque and they're kind of like foggy and stuff. So Candle exclaims, where we're going.
Explains.
Explains, not exclaims, excuse me. Explains where we're going. It is code within our organization that no one knows what anyone else looks like but me. So we will be meeting others of my guild. Please put that on once we arrive.
All right.
Anything else before we leave the inn? You got everything you need? Everything packed away? Good to go?
Oh, yeah. Like, I paratroopered that.
Gotcha. It's like you were never there.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
made the bed and everything.
Well, I put pillows under the bed. I'm sleeping still. I told them I was tired.
That works.
Put a music box that's snoring.
There's about a 30-minute walk before eventually you get to a barrel just on the side of a house of some sort, and Candle reaches out and you don't see what she does, but you hear a click and then half the barrel swings outward, and then she drops into this she just drops into this hole and vanishes. Caslin goes, it's a slide again.
Y'all really like these slides.
They like these slides, and I just come on, and he jumps in.
I follow.
He puts on a mask and then jumps in.
Yep, likewise.
Get inside. Dark
I
tunnel.
do put the cloak over my cloak because I kind of like tuck my cloak away just a little bit.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I would rather wear their janky one and keep mine to myself.
It's a cultist meeting cloak. It's there to be flashy. It's not practical to be used out in the streets kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just for, club meeting gatherings / only. Probably shouldn't use the word cult. Well, whatever. You know what a cultic robes. You know what I mean.
Yeah. The Dark Brotherhood. Yes.
You end up in a chamber very much reminiscent and the same as the one you were in previously with Candle and Caslin. A domed, craggy-looking chamber that has one candle sitting in the middle, burning.
I would do my absolute damnedest to not go wee the whole way down.
As you walk into this chamber, you smell the presence of other individuals. It's just like you can always feel a presence, especially in the dark.
Yep.
And sometimes that can throw you off, but you are among about a dozen or so other individuals in here. So it definitely, there's the evidence that this is just not Candle and Caslin. Like these are other individuals that are all wearing the same mask, the same cloak. They're not saying anything. They just all look at you as you walk in from one of the openings in the chambers. Good evening, everyone. As you all know, we will be undertaking one of the most rigorous excursions that us group of individuals have ever had to partake in. Castle Ordain, which has now been shut tight due to the recent attempted assassinations against the Anointed Lady and the relocation of the Arch-Cleric Twingle, which we still have no evidence or reasoning as to why, which you immediately pick up, Leah. She's lying because you told her why, but she is not telling anybody else this.
I note that as well because that can be useful.
Castle Ordain will be receiving supplies early this morning. The gates will be open to admit no more than 6 wagons of supplies, and every individual will be counted, and every case and satchel will be opened and searched. Guards will be watching from the upper court and along the walls, monitoring for anything odd. Once the goods are provided to the servants and workers, the wagon drivers are going to be leaving. which leads to our first of several problems. We're going to figure out a way how to stay inside the wagons, or stay inside once the wagons depart. Now, and she points to like a few others in there. Naturally, you will be driving the wagon and dropping us off. And then points to a few others. You will be providing the means of which we will be hiding ourselves below the wagons. Get the riggings ready. And you're starting to get the feeling that these people brought here has not been told about this until now, and they're giving orders. Like, you're going to be driving the wagon. You're going to get the riggings wedding with the riggings ready with the wagon. I did it.
That was a tricky one.
Preparing for whatever they're discussing. Now, once we are inside, we must figure out a way to move from lower court to upper court, being undetected. I believe I know a way to do this already. That will be easy for us. Because naturally, no one is allowed to get up into the upper court unless they are preordained individuals. The next problem that we will be having is that we were going to be attempting not one, but two. What's the word I'm looking for? Because the DM just had a...
Heists?
All right. We will be not one, but two items of importance from the two most powerful individuals in the city. It can be done. But we will be taking our time. You, and she points to the third group of individuals, will be undertaking the ins and outs of the city and managing the system until I return. If I do not return, within a week, find you another candle. But if not, be patient. We will return when we can. You all have your orders. You've all been given your documents. Now go. She just kind of like turns her hands, gives a brief nod, very militaristic, and all the other cloaked individuals, not saying a word, not acknowledgement or anything, simply just step backwards into their alcoves and vanish. Candle turns around to you and Caslin. The fact that you were able to perform your powerful magic to hide us is going to be essential in getting us to the upper court. How long does that magic last?
So, and I'm telling you this because I checked it. I just pulled it up. So it looks like a creature you touch becomes invisible until the spell ends. Anything, blah, blah, blah. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 3rd level or higher, you can target one additional creature for each slot level above 2nd. So I can only do 2 people. Right?
That's what it sounds like, yeah. So if you do it at 3rd level, only 2 people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's concentration, so you can't do multiple casts, right?
Right.
So you tell this to Candle?
Yes.
And we'll just say that this was part, that we read it. I would like for you to make both myself and Caslin invisible. Since you have a way with words, I think you will be able to blend in. Your thoughts?
It lasts an hour.
So we must get in. And the wagons must be unloaded. And they must be on the way out before you cast this spell.
And it requires my concentration. So I cannot do multiple castings.
Understood. Will you be able to cast while hanging from leather straps?
Yeah. Why am I hanging from leather straps?
Come with me. And she turns and leaves.
I guess I should have kept invisibility at a 3rd level in this. Question, if I cast at a 3rd level through the Symphony of Ivory, would I have had to have stored it at the 3rd level, or can I use that and it just nixes the other spell that's in there?
I would say you've already cast the 2nd level invisibility into the Symphony of Ivory, so the standard 1 person.
Okay.
I would say that even though you may be using a 3rd level spell to help get these individuals in, that one in your Symphony and Ivory can be like an oh shit button.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yourself.
That's why I put it in there as like the oh shit button.
And what I'm saying is that you did right by doing that. Just from, player to DM, I think that was very much a good bit of foresight in case if Caslin and Kendall get caught, Leah can still escape. And what's most important in this mission right now?
Yes.
Believe it or not, like if you're just a regular individual, my mission, you can get this whole mirror thing as a subplot compared to me, what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And what you're doing is getting in there and figuring out where the hell the fountain is.
Right.
So if it's in there, and there's only one way to find where it is, and you know this from when you unlock the fountain in Miro, The archcleric
Gotta get
has the key that will locate the fountain.
Absolutely.
So, which that's no surprise to anybody. That's not me giving Leah or Miranda what she needs to do. It's just from previous games.
Yep.
And she doesn't have other players to help her remember this. So that's why sometimes I got to do that.
Yeah. But I did remember that, so,
You make your way back outside. You actually exit a cellar, which is strange. Like, you go through one left, right, and these dark tunnels, you're being pulled along by Candle and stuff, and you're kind of getting confused. But then you just come out of a cellar, and you're kind of like, that's not as dramatic an entrance as everything else you've seen. The rocking chair falling backwards, the trap doors and stuff. This is like literally, this is just a cellar. There is a wagon there, being loaded up with barrels, and you reading the barrels, and it's saying like grain and stuff on the side.
I'm gonna be strapped underneath it, aren't I?
Preservatives and stuff, and yes, that is exactly what's going to happen. Candle climbs up underneath, and when you two get up under there, you do see there are leather strapped riggings underneath the wagon.
Is there like a burlap thing they pull over us that's like painted to look the same as the wood, so it makes us harder to find?
You asked this?
Yeah.
Candle says, "Please secure yourself to the bottom of the wagon, and I will show you."
I carefully secure myself to the bottom as best I can.
Caslin does as well.
And I've changed out of that stupid robe back into my
Give me an insight check for Caslin. You notice he seems to be sweating a little bit.
Insight?
Yeah.
15.
Ooh, he's a little nervous.
Well, yeah, I would expect him to be.
Feels a little over his head.
Fair enough.
And to the fact where when you all get rigged up and everything, and you're in between Candle and him, you actually kind of feel his little hand just kind of like touching your arm a little bit.
I give him a little squeeze.
Yeah, and he squeezes you back and just kind of shakes it like in thanks, basically. 100% plutonic. Just so y'all know, this is between friends. Candle reaches up and actually grabs something and then pulls, and then you are sheathed in darkness as she pulls down like just a roll up. It's wood over the top of both of you, and then you see her move her feet, and she like locks it in with her foot.
Nice.
And she turns to look at you and goes, better than some burlap. They use mirrors.
Sorry, I remember going on base and like they do the
mirrors underneath.
Yep.
The wagons start. You hear yelling. The individuals driving it, you did get to see their face, but you don't know who they are. About an hour passes of you riding this wagon going between streets and stuff. You hear the hustle and bustle outside. It's starting to get warm. It's starting to get warm in the box. Candle is just deadpan. Just you even look over and it looks like her eyes are closed as if like she's sleeping. So she might be one of those individuals that just conks out when she can.
Why does that feel targeted, Connor?
Yeah. And you hear muffled sounds along the lines of, "Whoa there. 6 of you, what are you carrying? Grain? Line up over there. You there." And you hear the voice, move off. You there, it's a guard telling people to get in line. You hear knocking on wood. You hear scraping of boxes and things like that. And so on and so forth. And you even hear like the scuffle of boots like right beside the wagon. I want you to give me a charisma saving throw to keep your cool, because this is a high anxiety intense moment.
Nat 20. It's a little moon.
As cool as a cucumber. Let me roll for Caslin.
Oh wow! I moved that dice out of the way to roll that one, and it rolled to a nat 20. Woo!
Okay, give me those die.
Both of them?
No, I'm joking. They're loaded.
No, because they're never gonna do that again now.
You're inside. After a few more moments, the wagons start to rumble again, and then Candle turns to you and goes, "It's time. Good luck. We will stay with you. You have to make your way up to the upper courts without being seen. Whenever you're ready."
Okay, so I will reach out and touch both of them because I have to touch them.
Okay.
And I will cast invisibility at 3rd level on them.
And as you do that, is that semantic components, verbal?
It is VSM, yes.
Okay.
But I'm going to do it. It's like...
So yeah, humming to yourself the light melody, you're able to... Well, no, if we remember correctly, it's you basically make a noise and cut the noise off halfway through and then moving your hands...
Now
and then touching them.
Now you don't.
And then it's like an
the conductor.
The conductor silencing his orchestra.
Yep.
touch both of them with your hands after that, and they both fade. You hear a click, and you hear a very soft, quiet roll up of the wood, and then you hear buckles being undone, and looseness being dropped, and you're still chained into the bottom of the cart. So what would you like to do?
Well, get out of the...
All right. Give me a sleight of hand check.
Okay. Because you can't cast anything else at all when you have concentration.
You can cast non-concentration magic.
You can't?
Yeah. You just can't cast a second concentration spell.
Gotcha. Okay, because I was going to say I could use Mage Hand to help me out.
Okay, so you do use Mage Hand, and that'll help the DC. What did you roll?
9 plus, what did you tell me to roll? What is it? Sleight of hand?
Mm-hmm.
11.
11? Okay, the DC was 8. So you're able to very carefully and quietly undo the latches that have been harnessing you. Your legs have been asleep, but you just ignore the tingles. And putting your hands up like push-up position, because the road is like literally just 2 feet from you. You're able to put your hands down and slowly lower yourself down where you can see below the wagon. Give me a perception check.
8.
8. You see a lot of legs. You see a lot of barrels being loaded and sat down and tapped. You see people discussing. There's a lot of commotion. You know you're in the lower court of the castle, but there's a lot of legs and a lot of commotion going on.
Okay, I'm going to roll away from the legs.
Okay.
To the other side of the wagon, essentially.
Well, what are you planning?
Well, because like they're all moving stuff and so on and so forth. What I'm planning is essentially to, because like the people there were in on it, so I imagine they would have put stuff on the ground somewhere around it, so that I'm essentially going to get near it and pick it up and be like, "Where'd you say this had to go?" Like that. But not to any of the guards, to the people unloading.
Okay, so.
But not say that so much as just kind of like the.
With that perception check, I will say you definitely found an opening and probably the crate that you need. And you even hear a whisper. You can get out this way. No one's looking right now. It's Candle.
So I get out that way.
Okay. You stand up, kind of brushing yourself off, and you look around. You see guards of the lance moving and talking to people. You see servants and helpers, like stock hands and stuff that are coming over from the garrison or near the guest hall. And there's like these little stalls set up and stuff, like a typical castle, actually. Like it's actually like, wow, it's actually quite lively in here despite being completely cut off from the outside world. As you go up and you go to lift a crate, and like I said, you see the workers on the inside, you see the people that have dropped off the wagon, you see the guards in the lance. Leah, what would you try and do in this situation to try and blend in better and stay in the castle?
I'm going to... So I've picked up something, right? Yeah.
You pick up a crate and you're stacking it and moving it. Somebody else just turns and hands you a crate off the cart, and you grab it and turn and stack it down. You've made yourself a part of the workforce.
Yeah, I have. And so I'm going to look for what the people coming in from the castle, or like out from the inside of the castle, what they look like.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the same thing I did to my cloak before, where I very gradually shift it. And I'm going to also adjust my mannerisms and so on and so forth. I'm essentially going to look like a very flustered, "Are you sure this is what we ordered? Because I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be this and this," kind of thing. Like, that's the vibe I'm going for, is like the person with the clipboard. The one that everybody avoids like the plague.
Okay, so you're looking for the chief butler.
Yes, okay. And I'm looking to be like that chief butler's secretary-esque, like, "Are you sure this is the one we ordered?" But I'm catching the vibe first before I do anything.
Give me a perception check.
Man, I'm so bad at these.
You're doing well, though.
10.
A 10?
Yep.
You immediately find this individual flanked by 2 guards, very well dressed, very pristine, wearing it's an elf, maybe even half elf individual, with short cut hair, very well dressed. Definitely looks out of place down here among all the other rabble, but you also see like somebody like running up to tell him something and then going quickly away. And that is who you want to have a beeline on. It's a maid of some sort, possibly, or maybe even we can even say it could be a stall worker of some sort, maybe a stable worker. Just very casual, standard clothing, very similar with what you would be wearing today. And I would say has like a nice cap on, that brim, like a wide brim cap to kind of keep the sun out of their eyes and stuff. And you see several individuals that look like that throughout the crowd.
Okay. So I'm going to pick up the stuff and try to head that direction.
Okay. You hear a whisper. "What are you doing?" What do you need?
Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Get in?
We are in. This is Caslin. It's like, what do you need? It's like, I'm invisible. I can help. I'm good with my fingers. What do you need?
I think knocking something. Oh yeah, a hat would be good. And then knock something over in one spot, like have something fall.
You hear, I can make the distraction.
And then I need one of their hats.
That's Candle. I can get a hat. I'll be back. Okay, they both go.
And I'm just trudging along with the crate.
You there, what are you doing?
Carrying a crate.
Where are you taking it?
Where I'm supposed to. With the rest of the crates.
What wagon are you with?
And I kind of do the awkward shuffle.
And it's not a guard, but it's like, it's one of the other workers there that's just kind of asking, like, what are you doing? Just standing there, you could look to them like you were just standing there for a second, holding a crate. And all it seems like he's doing is just not being suspicious, but more like,
I thought I was going to drop it. It took a second.
You got it?
I think so.
Go carry it over there, please.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. What wagon were you with?
That one, I kind of just gesture vaguely to where he is already going to make the assumption and make the connection himself.
Right. I want you to give me an insight check roll. Just,
Insight. 12.
12. You are starting to ascertain just a teensy bit that, sure, they can dot all their I's and cross all their T's, but you still like, when an anthill's kicked, an anthill's kicked. And nobody's perfect and can keep up with all of this. So that's why you're starting to feel like maybe it will be possible to stay behind. Let me do the rolls for Caslin. Just roll with advantage. Ooh. And for the distraction.
So distraction seems like it'd be kind of easy, honestly. It's got to like pull a hair out of a horse's nose or something.
Well, yeah, you do hear a horse like jump that was attached to one of the wagons and try and jump up out of its harness, but then the horse next to it stays in place and it's looking like, what? And it immediately draws everybody's eye. And you seem like nothing happens for a few minutes, and all of a sudden you feel something just basically be placed into your hand, and it feels like, the fabric of those caps.
Okay. Put the crate down and kind of just do the thing where, like, you roll around one side, you look one way, and you roll at the other side, and you look a different way.
Ooh, yes. Deception or performance check.
Let's do a performance check.
Yeah, because this is very like
I'm also
actor
changing I'm definitely changing my cloak and everything, like changing my mannerisms, my posture even, and my hair, which was probably like done and tucked up. I'll pull the braid down.
Okay.
So my hair is still like
Absolutely.
in a braid, but just like
true blue bard. I love it. Okay.
28.
A 28 flawlessly. You grab the hat. You don't even look to see where it is. You know it's there. You see the horse jump. There is a Lance member that was walking towards you, and then he turned at the sound, and you used his shadow to step, turn, put the hat on, drop the hair, change the mannerisms to copy the other pseudo higher echelon help around there. The crate has been left behind, and you have now probably you've done it so well that in the next 30 minutes, as the wagons turn or loaded and are leaving off, you have struck up a conversation with one of the other stall workers as if you've always been there, and they just kind of feel like you have been. You got a little.
Can you believe that they are acting as if we could tell that they weren't repackaged?
That's terrible. And some of this grain's gone to waste already at the bottom, I'm sure, once we start scraping it out.
I know. It's the way they store it. They never listen, do they?
I really think there's a bigger instance going on, some type of ecological shift that's causing the food to spoil faster, but no one ever listens to me.
I understand.
Anyways, can you help me with this barrel?
Absolutely. You got it. You got pivot.
Yeah. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Jeremy's name, right? Jeremy?
No, that ain't my name, but don't worry about it. Scott's what I usually go by.
So sorry, Scott. I know a Jeremy. You get along with him great. Maybe that's why we just had that conversation.
The wagons roll out. Gates shut. You are left in the castle. And we'll see where you go from there next time. Is that exciting?
Yeah.
A heist. I always love a good heist. This broadcast has been brought to you by the Bountiful Bards. Bountiful Bards. Buy it anywhere in stores now. Get action figures. Thank you for tuning in once again. We've had 2 quite long episodes back to back. It's quite crazy. It's enjoyable.
Quite crazy.
And enjoyable. For everyone at home listening, thank you for stopping in. Say goodbye, Miranda.
Goodbye, Miranda.
Toodles. Thank you for listening. Please leave a review anywhere you found us. You can reach out to us on Twitter at Bountiful Bards. We hope to see you again on the civilized road.
And bring bread and cheese.
as the story goes. Until then.